Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so today we are gonna show you guys how to clean a carburetor. Now, let me sit down because we're gonna talk a little bit. Now, as you guys know, I buy a lot of used bikes on Craigslist, and 90% of the bikes I buy is just a simple carb clean. A lot of people don't know how to do this, and it's stupid easy, stupid simple. Clean your pilot jet, your main jet, and make sure the float's not sticking. And usually you're A-okay on a carburetor. These carburetors, they gum up with bad gas after sitting a month or two. There's a lot of bikes that get sold for dirt cheap because people don't know what's wrong with them when it's just a carburetor issue. So today we are showing you guys how to clean the carburetor in the old TTR 90, the clapped out box, okay? I'm trying to keep it PG, but it's just a box, all right? So let me show you what it's doing. I actually cleaned this carburetor. I went through the whole thing, took it off, did the whole shebang, and well, it's bogging again. And I think there must have been bad gas in the gas tank, and I really should have changed the gas in it, and I didn't. So my bad. Now we gotta clean the carb again. So this TTR 90 actually picked up on Facebook Market for $350. All it needed was a carb clean. It is really ragged out, but it's just a carburetor issue. Like I said, I already cleaned it out, got it running, rode it around. It was a blast, other than this thing being a little tiny clown bike. I should be able to fix this bike up and sell it for 800 bucks, that's my guess. So we're making a lot of profit. And as of right now, I got $10 in the grips and $20 in the new shifter lever because, you know, the other one was, you guys gotta see this. This right here. Don't ask me what kind of contraption this is, but it's junk. Dude, buckets all day. So let me show you guys what it's doing and why we need to clean the car. I actually tried to take this bike out today and it would not start. So that's down now, we're here now to do this because next week we're taking this thing to a pit bike race. So we're doing with choke off for now. It's got nothing. It's literally got nothing to start. We're gonna turn the choke on, see if we can't get it some fuel. We're gonna turn the choke on. The motor is cold. Okay, so we got the choke on. Let's see if we can get this thing fired up. It'll try to work now. It does not want to idle or start again. You give it gas, she doesn't want to run. We've been dealing with this thing for the past couple hours, just trying to get it to run. And no, the jets are clogged. Clearly, usually when a bike's struggling to get fuel or it's bogging, it's usually gonna be a carburetor issue. Now, since this thing ran perfect earlier, like last week, and it just sat, I'm saying jets, don't start playing with the settings on your carb. Don't start changing stuff, because if it ran earlier just fine, they didn't change. It's just, you probably got a small piece of dirt inside one of those jets. So we're showing you guys how to clean one. First thing I'm gonna do is lay the bike over because this thing is tiny. All the tools laid out since I know them like the back of my hand since I've had to do this so many times already. We're not gonna go into detail. It's gonna be different for every bike, but actual carburetor on this is the same carburetor you're gonna see on your CRF 100, CRF 80s, CRF 50s, 110s. Same through all the TTR trail bike models. They're the ones you see most with this problem. Why? I don't know. I guess people with trail bikes, they buy them for their kids. They sit for too long and they don't know what they're doing with them. So let's get started. So the carburetor is actually located right here. I'm gonna take off this fender shroud just so we can have easier access to it. These are just 8mm bolts. And usually on all these bikes, the plastics are gonna be held on with 8mm bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these bolts out. Shroud's gonna come loose. We'll keep these bolts right here in it. Now, here is the heart of your motor. Now, a lot of people say the piston is, but this is actually what is pumping fuel. So to pull off this carburetor, the first thing you need to do is loosen this up. These are usually Phillips head. This is running to your air filter, and you also gotta pull it off of your manifold intake. These are just Allen screws. First thing we're gonna start with is unscrewing that. So let me grab a Phillips head. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen this up. We got that loose. Now we're gonna go ahead and crack these bolts loose. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the gas line just because it's kind of tight already getting back in there to the bolt behind this. So we're gonna pop that off just so we have a little more room. All right, so we cracked this one loose. We're just gonna go ahead and back it all the way out. We're gonna slide this plastic piece out real quick. This has a little O-ring on the side connecting to the intake manifold. That I dropped. Where did it go? Oh, nope, it held into the intake manifold. All right, now we're gonna pull this boot off. This is sometimes stubborn. Hey, there it went. And now we have access to everything we need to do to clean this carb. I'm not gonna take the carb all the way apart. I'm not gonna make this confusing. These are gonna be the main problems on why this carb is clogged and why this bike isn't running. These are gonna be your 3 main problems. Now, this is the carburetor bowl. We're gonna take this off real quick. These 4 bolts holding the carburetor bowl on, they strip easy, so make sure you put a lot of pressure on them. Broke that one loose, go down here. Let's break this last one loose. Go ahead and pull these all out. Careful not to lose these. Watch your Crocs, they might don't really want to get gas all in them. Pull out that last one and the carburetor bolt will now pop off. Here's your carburetor bowl. This gasket sometimes gets bad. Try to watch out for that, try not to rip it. We do got some grime in this carburetor bowl. Might soak that in gas and rub it out, hit it with some bunch of carb cleaner and try to clean that out. That might be a part of my problem. And here is where the good stuff happens inside this carburetor. Here's your main jet, here is your pilot jet, and here are your floats. Okay, if you've ever had the problem with gas running out of the overflow on your bike, it's the floats. This needle valve behind the floats isn't seated properly. So, gas pours down into the carburetor bowl, thus floating up the float that shuts off the valve that lets gas into it. We're gonna go ahead and pull off the floats to show you what I'm talking about while I'm on the topic. All there is a little pin that holds them in place. I'm gonna pop that through. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this pin on through. Here's the pin. And now we can pull out the floats. Okay, so here is the floats and here is the needle valve. This needle valve, like I said, goes up and down inside this hole right here, stopping the flow of gas into the carburetor bowl. Sometimes the adjustments on the floats can be off, but usually that's not a problem on a bike that's just been sitting. But you do want to clean this needle valve and the floats while you're in here, because a lot of times it's a big issue on these bikes. Like I said, main jet, pilot jet. Your main jet is like your higher RPMs. Pilot jet is for when you're idling and like a quarter throttle at tops. And after a quarter throttle, the rest is all coming out through the main. The main has a bigger hole, the pilot has a smaller hole. Let's get a flathead and we'll break both these out of here. All right, so we're gonna pull the main jet first. Just gonna stick your flathead in there and break that loose and pull it on out. And time for the pilot jet. Bust that loose.
Holy cow, this thing's shot, dude. It's shot.
Here's the big jet. This jet is bigger, it does have a bigger hole. This one's less likely to get clogged, but it can get held back. The pilot jet, always, it's gonna be usually the one that's clogged. So to clean these out, you're gonna hit them with carb cleaner. This is just carbon choke. Picked it up at O'Reilly, so this stuff, I use it a lot. But first, you gotta have eye protection, boys. Trust me on this one. It ain't worth it.
Oh, that's not good at all. Okay, long story short.
I'm gonna go ahead and spray this out. All you're doing is getting it pressurized with the carbon choke, hopefully pushing out that dirt, blowing it out. Some people, they'd rather use compressed air over carbon choke, but this stuff, this is what I always use. All right, let's see if we can get some light through it. My fingers are on fire. Oh my gosh, it's still so clogged. All right, that didn't unclog it, okay? We're gonna go ahead and pour some of this. We're gonna throw the carburetor bowl in here, soak it in some carbon choke. We're gonna go ahead and throw our parts in here. Does that stuff stink?
It's kind of strong.
Yeah, it's a little strong. We're just gonna soak it real quick in a little carbon choke. Now, these jet cleaners are really tiny wires. I'm gonna go ahead and use the smallest one and see if I can't fit it through that jet that's clogged, the pilot jet. If the wire's too big, don't force it. Also, these side holes on the jet, also poke on through those. I'm gonna hit it one more time with the carbon choke. Safety first, boys, safety first. All right, now we're gonna move on to the big dog. We're gonna hit it with the air compressor. Go ahead, hold it up to the light, and we got the smallest hole physically possible that you can see light through, but it's clean. See if this will fit now. It doesn't quite go all the way through. We might bring the tools to the race to clean this thing just in case. I'm gonna go ahead and spray off You don't, this ain't as necessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and spray off the actual floats. Wipe those down. Let's try to get everything clean as possible. So we got clean floats, clean pilot jet. Go ahead down in here, pull out the main jet. Go ahead, run the jet cleaner. Hit it with the air compressor. Clean as a whistle. Let's go ahead and put my safety glasses on for use later. Now, this carb bowl, we need to get this clean because there is a little bit of dirty trash in there. Try to rub off any of that green old excess gas. I've never actually tried to use a brush on one of these. Usually I rub them out with my fingers, but this one's especially dirty. So we're gonna err on the side of precaution and try to brush out some of this grit. See if we get any green residue on it. Looks like we're got most of it out. Alrighty, so we got a clean bowl, a clean float, clean pilot jet, clean main jet. We're just gonna wash off this valve seat. Rub it down. Be easy on this. You do not want to mess it up because you got to order another one. If there's any green residue on this, you also want to try to scrape it off with your fingers so it has a better, proper seat. And now all your main things are clean. Now I like going over here and just spraying it out. I'm gonna also go run the compressor and blow air through every hole that I can get to right here. It happens when you're working on petty blue dirt bikes. Yeah, do not forget to put your gasket on. And go ahead and put the needle valve back onto the float. I don't know if that's upside down, but we'll find out here in a second. This needle valve is just held on with a little clip, or not even a clip, a little piece of wire. Make sure you get it back in the hole. Drop your pin in, run it through the float. Grab your main jet, pop that baby in. Pilot jet, pop that baby in. Go ahead, snug them down with a flathead screwdriver. Make sure your gasket's all in place on your carburetor bowl. Just run your bowl back on. Get your 4 screws back in that holds down the carburetor bowl. And once we get these in, we'll show you what's next. Let's go ahead and snug all these down. Lots of pressure on them. You do not want to strip these. People strip these out all the time. You're gonna put your carburetor back in place where it belongs. Go ahead, pop on the air intake. You want to make sure this is all the way around on all sides. Make sure it's not sucking air out right here, because then you're getting unfiltered air and you're going to ruin your top end pretty darn quick. Can't forget to put this piece back in between. Put this O-ring back on this intake manifold. Keep that O-ring in place with my finger. Make sure you got that O-ring and that plastic piece in there. And go ahead and run these bolts back in here. Tighten down your intake manifold and tighten down this clamp that goes around the air intake boot, and you are set. So once we get fresh gas in the gas tank, I'll pick you guys up. All right, here's pro tips with Braydon Price. Listen to me and listen to me very carefully. If you're not gonna ride your bike, if you got a carbureted bike and you're not gonna ride it for a month or so, even 2 weeks if you don't see yourself riding it, that bolt on the bottom of the carburetor right there, that is the drain for your carburetor bowl. Turn your gas off right here. Pull that bolt out until it starts pouring out the overflow, or the overflow line. Drain all the gas in your carburetor. That way you're never gonna have to clean your carburetor if you keep doing that. It'll keep it clean and fresh. Also, run non-ethanol gas in these bikes. The likelihood of you getting the clog in your jets go a lot lower if you're running non-ethanol and you drain the gas every time you're done riding if you're not gonna ride for a couple weeks. You'll never have to clean the carb. It'll save you some time. Let's get some gas in this bad boy and see if she starts. All right, turn the fuel on, and we're good to go. Let's give this thing some kicks. I'm calling the first kick. No hesitation, come here. Look, look. It actually revs now. She idles, bro! And that's right there is how you clean a carburetors, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Do you guys like little how-to videos like this? Yes! She runs now. Yes, we did a little burnout in the garage, and we can't stay in here any longer because I'm about to... I can't breathe. We need to open the garage door. Let me know what you thought about this video down in the comments, and I will catch y'all on the next one.